Flashback, New York Times warns the world about the end of snow. As I write this, it's a balmy 13 degrees in the home of the New York Times. A few hours west in Erie, Pennsylvania, Reuters reports that residents are digging out from 65 inches of snow in record cold temperatures. I mention this not because of any particular affinity for snow and/or cold weather. Both are perfectly nice to watch on Christmas vacation, but significantly less entertaining when I'm the one freezing my baguettes off. I mention this merely because almost 4 years ago, the aforementioned New York Times published a piece declaring the end of snow. The end of snow, you say? Yes, apparently, fossil fuels and climate change were literally going to put a permanent end to the white stuff, or something like that. On the occasion of the 2014 Sochi Olympics in Russia, the Times reporter Fox how this whole global warming thing was a real drag for winter sports enthusiasts like himself. During the Olympics, Fox wrote, television crews will pan across epic vistas of the rugged Caucasus Mountains, draped with brilliant white ski slopes. What viewers might not see is the 16 million cubic feet of snow that was stored under insulated blankets last year to make sure those slopes remain white, or the hundreds of snowmaking guns that have been running around the clock to keep them that way. Officials canceled 2 Olympic test events last February in Sochi after several days of temperatures above 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and a lack of snowfall had left ski trails bare and brown in spots, he added. Curiously unmentioned in Fox's piece was the fact that Sochi was the warmest city to ever host the Winter Olympics and had been put fourth, mostly because Russia was using the Olympics as a launchpad to turn Sochi into a regional resort destination. Nor does he mention that, as the Daily Caller points out, the 2014 Winter Olympics took place during an El Niño, a weather pattern which leads to warm winters. You would think those facts might have been important to mention when you're trying to advance the Sochi Games as an object lesson in climate change, but, nope. Anyway, Fox made sure readers were made aware of the really important effects of climate change, what it would do to his preferred sport of skiing. I was floored by how much snow had already disappeared from the planet, not to mention how much was predicted to melt in my lifetime, Fox wrote. The ski season in parts of British Columbia is 4 to 5 weeks shorter than it was 50 years ago, and in eastern Canada, the season is predicted to drop to less than 2 months by mid-century. At Lake Tahoe, spring now arrives 2.5 weeks earlier, and some computer models predict that the Pacific Northwest will receive 40 to 70% less snow by 2050. If greenhouse gas emissions continue to rise, they grew 41% between 1990 and 2008, then snowfall, winter and skiing will no longer exist as we know them by the end of the century. Of course, models back in the 1970s seem to show the exact opposite. In 1975, scientist Nigel Calder said, the threat of a new ice age must now stand alongside nuclear war as a likely source of wholesale death and misery for mankind. But great skiing for Porter Fox. Nor was Calder alone. C.C. Wallen of the World Meteorological Organization said that cooling since 1940 has been large enough and consistent enough that it will not soon be reversed. Ecologist Kenneth Watt said that world has been chilling sharply for about 20 years. If present trends continue, the world will be about 4 degrees colder for the global mean temperature in 1990, but 11 degrees colder in the year 2000. This is about twice what it would take to put us into an ice age. And all of this was supposedly due to pollution. While computer modeling may be better now, let's not pretend that these 3 scientists were making their environmental prognostications in some antediluvian time. All 3 remarks above were made in 1975, 6 years after we had put a man on the moon. With this in mind, there are several points to consider here, beyond the fact that Porter Fox is really concerned about what global warming will do to his time on the slopes. First, there have been all kinds of predictions about the environment since environmentalism began, especially of the alarmist variety. They tend not to pan out. Second, the environment on our planet changes. It warms, it cools. Some of this may be due to anthropogenic sources, although there's considerable disagreement about just how much we contribute. Even with this, it isn't the end of the world, and it certainly isn't the end of snow. Just ask the people in Erie. Please like and share on Facebook and Twitter if you don't think snow will be coming to an end for a long time.